Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar. So tonight we're talking about budgeting and setting goals in the unknown. So for anyone who's not quite sure of what the unknown is, it's the dreaded coronavirus, because obviously we're operating in a different time at the moment. And we thought it was important to talk about this topic given the current situation. So as always, it's really important to understand that the information that we share with you tonight is general information. Obviously, everybody has individual needs and individual scenarios, so it's really important that you take on board all of that and your own personal circumstances before making any decisions. So you'll see on the screen that there are 3 handouts available. They'll all be explained throughout the course of the webinar tonight, but we have a financial wealth check form, a needs analysis form, and a goal template. So make sure that while you're listening, you download those 3 documents. I will keep the webinar going for an extra couple of minutes once we finish, just to make sure that people have the ability to download those handouts if they haven't done so yet. So for those of you who are new to the Property Club and to our webinars, I'd like to just give you a really quick intro. So who are the Property Club? We are a club of like-minded people who have found a passion of investing in property and setting up for their future. A club with a wealth of information. We're a free club who are happy to share our resources. The club is paid by the sellers of properties, so you don't have to pay a cent as a buyer. And it's important to know that the club has years and years of experience in researching and sourcing the best properties. Why are you here tonight? You've all invested your time to be here. Congratulations. Some of us might be looking just for something new to do other than Netflix while we're all in lockdown and isolation, but nevertheless, thank you for coming along. The purpose of our webinars are to talk to you about your future and to help point out some ways to set yourself up for retirement and lifestyle choices. The reality is that you can make a difference to your future. You just need to want to do it and seek the assistance from those that can help you. And that's where the Property Club come in, and we're free and we're here to help you. A little bit about Justin and I, for those of you that don't know us. So we are Justin and Jenny Watson, both 34 years old. We both work full time. We have a 3-year-old toddler, Olivia. We joined the club back in 2009 and we became property millionaires in 2012. We became property mentors in 2016 and we became Young Investors Club ambassadors in 2016. We then became the Young Investors Club presidents in 2018. Now, the reason why we became mentors and then later to become the Young Investors Club presidents is because the club had given us so much in helping us build our portfolio. So we have a portfolio of 5 properties and the club have helped us to do that. So we felt it was time to give back and help others along their journey. And we're very, very passionate in talking to the younger generation to help them to understand that they need to take care of their future because nobody else is going to do it for them. There's this misconception out there amongst our generation that superannuation is going to be all that we need when we get older and retire, but the reality is it's simply not going to be enough. When we talk about the things that we achieve and the way that we manage our finances, it's important to note that we're on average incomes. So we're not earning millions of dollars to do what we've done. Like I said, we've done it with the help of the club and the right information available to us. So we wanted financial freedom in retirement and we realised that we needed to take action. Now, a big part of that is budgeting. We wanted to enjoy our lifestyle, but still prepare for our retirement. So we've been on lots of holidays. We were fortunate enough to have 5 weeks overseas in Europe during December. So we went at a really good time and obviously made it back just in time for the world's chaos that has unfolded. So for us, it was really important that we still got to live our lives now, but with the ultimate goal of setting ourselves up for the future. And we're certainly on track to do that. So let's talk a little bit about the unknown. So we're all currently experiencing the unknown. Coronavirus has brought us a very unique situation that we've never charted before. So much of what we experience at the moment is outside of our control, but that's why for our own well-being and for our future, when we come out the other side of this, which we will, we must control what we can now. Regardless of all the theories, all the predictions flying around, and we all know that there's tons and tons of those, the reality is that no one knows how things are going to turn out economically on the other side. So we need to be using this time to plan and budget to give us the best outcome when it finally does come to an end. Despite this hiccup, we still all need to be planning for our future and our retirement. This coronavirus doesn't change this. And if lockdown lasts 6 to 12 months, this is critical time that we will lose in prepping for our future if we simply put everything on hold. So regardless if you're still working or if you've unfortunately lost your job like so many, you need to know where your money is going. So by taking a look at your budget and understanding and undertaking some tightening, you can have a more positive outcome and experience. So let's start off by setting some goals. So before you get stuck into your budget, you need to think about what you'd like to achieve. Even if your income isn't as high as it has been, so you might have lost your job, you might be on some government benefits at the moment, there'll still be things that you want to commit to. So set aside time to set your goals. Have a planning meeting. Justin and I, we meet every 6 months and we go on a date, we go out for dinner, have a glass of wine, and we talk about the things that we want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months, and then 2 years and 5 years. And it helps us to understand what we're both working towards, because sometimes we do have very different goals. So it's really important that we do talk it through. So you might not be able to go on a planning meeting to a restaurant at the moment, but think outside the box, have a date night at home. When setting goals, remember to negotiate and compromise. So, you know, it's very hard when you and your partner might want different things, but it's really important that you do negotiate. So for instance, the travel is my thing, so I prefer to travel. Justin prefers to invest more. So we tend to go on a big holiday whenever we settle on another property. So it's our give and take. Be realistic. So don't set goals that are completely outside of your ability. They need to be realistic and achievable. You need to assess your priorities. If you don't achieve your goals, don't stress, okay? By beating yourself up, that's the worst thing you can do, because it's just going to make you avoid trying to achieve your goals in the future. So acknowledge what you have achieved and reshuffle outstanding goals to the next year. Most years, Justin and I have goals that we need to move on to the next year, and that's okay. We just make them the priority for the next year. So we've created a handy template for you to use when setting your goals, and that's available in the handout section. So make sure that you do download that. But like I said, I'll keep the webinar going for a couple of minutes, just in case anybody needs to still download it towards the end. So we use that template when we are setting our goals for each of the different scenarios, being 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years. And it's really important to have it written down. So we stick it up on the fridge to make sure that it's in our face every day and we know what we're working towards. Okay, so let's get stuck into our budget. But before we do get started, because of the unknown, we need to think about the income that we're likely to receive. So you need to think about things like, is your employment currently secure? If it's not, then you might need to reconsider and be more aware of how much income you're putting down for your budget, because that may not be accurate. Are you entitled to any government support benefits? So the government have released obviously a number of different packages to support people. Are you entitled to any of those that you might be able to use as income? Are your tenants likely to stay in your properties? And if they are they likely to be able to continue to pay? Are their jobs safe? Because that all impacts on whether or not your income is as stable as you think it might be. On the flip side, you need to do that for expenses too. So at the moment, your expenses may actually be less. So for instance, will I now get free childcare? Will I be saving on fuel or public transport because I'm working from home? Will I be saving more as I won't be eating out as much? But on the flip side, will my heating be going up as I'll be working from home all day? So all things that you need to take into consideration in the current climate, which may impact your income and expenses. So think about everything that will be coming in and going out so that you can plan for what you will spend. Focus on what that looks like right now. Let's say we come out of lockdown in 6 months, that will look different. So focus on right now. Then you can shave things off if you need to. Now it's time to build the budget. So we don't use any fancy apps or software to build our budget. We simply use Microsoft Excel. So we start with listing every date that we want to include. So we'll start with today's date and we'll drag it right down till the end of the year. So for this year being the 31st of December. We then list all of our income avenues across the page. So you can see in column A, we've got the date. Column B, we list my income. Column C, we list Justin's income. D, E, etc. we list all of our rents. If you are receiving government entitlements, then you would make a column for your government entitlements. So any income you list across the columns like in the picture. We then need to do our expenses in the same way that we did our income. So after you finish all your income, start by listing all the expenses that you might have. So this includes mortgages, groceries, electricity, childcare, entertainment, eating out, your Netflix, your Stan, your vet bills, anything that you're expecting to come out for both your own properties and the rental properties. It would be so much easier just to list the end outcome for your rental property. So, okay, so if I get $1,000 in rent and my expenses are $200, then my income's $800. But it's really important to break it down with both your income and expenses. So separate it all out because it helps with understand calculations throughout the year. And you can track where you are on track and when you're not on track. So once you've listed all your expenses in the same way that you have done your income, add two final columns. So one called balance and one called check-in. Fill in all of your income and expenses on the dates that you expect them to occur. So yes, this isn't a 5-minute exercise. This is quite a lengthy exercise, but trust me, it pays off at the end. So as you can see in column B, we've listed a weekly income for Jenny, but Justin's paid fortnightly, so we've just listed one for the fortnight. The rents are monthly, so you'll see an entry on Monday, the 6th of April, then the next entry would be the 6th of May. Same for mortgage, groceries and electricity. Now, if you add your current bank balance into the balance cell in the row of today's date, so on the image on the screen, you're looking at I2, so cell I2. If our bank balance is $4,000, we put in $4,000 in the balance. Then in tomorrow's balance type, in the formula, we add the formula that's written on the screen. So I2 plus B3, etc., etc. We then hit enter and that gives us a balance of $7,600. So on Sunday, the 5th of April, I have $4,000, but on Monday, I get my 4 streams of income and my mortgage comes out. So then my projected balance is $7,600. We carry that all the way down to the 31st of December, and then that indicates what we should have at the end of the year. So drag the formula you typed in tomorrow's balance by double clicking in the bottom right hand corner of the cell, and all your calculations are done. So scroll to the bottom and see how much savings you should have. Obviously your spreadsheet will look completely different, and we've only taken a snapshot of a week, and we've obviously used simple data to help us with the calculations. So it's important to keep an eye on how you're tracking with your budget. So every fortnight, check your balance and type it in the check-in column. So if I just go back to that screen. So you can see in balance, which is column I. Next to it, we've got column J, which is check-in. So let's say I log into my internet banking on Wednesday, the 8th of April, and my bank account balance is $7,700. I know I'm on track. In fact, I'm ahead $100. But if I log in on the same day and I'm only $7,200, I know, oh, hang on a minute, I've overspent. Where have I overspent? So this is what helps make you accountable. So by having that check-in column, you always know where you're at and where you should be so that you can adjust before it's too late. So let's talk about some money saving tips during the pandemic so that you're able to add some income to your budget. Seek cheaper alternatives. Businesses are desperate to keep business, so utilise this. We got fuel for 88 cents last weekend, and we had to be those people that took a photo of it because it was just so surreal. Negotiate a better interest rate with your bank, okay? Banks are expecting you to make that call to help you. Refinance if you have to and you can to get a better rate. Utilise mortgage offset accounts if you have excess funds. So by utilising mortgage offset accounts, you can offset the interest that's payable on your home loans. Create date nights at home. So cook up your favourite Mexican dish and get dressed up as if you were going out, but just have it at home, so much cheaper. If you need to, talk to your bank about putting payments on hold. We would caution you to only do that if you absolutely need to. Save the money you're not spending at the shops. Don't just shop online as an alternative. So I've heard a few people say, oh, I'm saving so much money, I'm going to spend it online. But you don't need to. You've lived without these things. You can probably go a little bit longer and just save that money. Don't go out and buy a new home office setup. I was so surprised to see the footage of people lined up out the door of Officeworks to buy their stand-up, sit-down desks. Make it work with what you've got. Put a jumper on rather than using the heating all day. Cook meals in bulk and freeze them. There's opportunities to save. We just need to think outside of the box. Some landlord tips through the pandemic. So for those of you that are landlords and perhaps a little bit concerned about tenants not being able to pay rent, reach out to your property mentor if you need help in managing your portfolio due to coronavirus. Understand the true financials of your property. Okay, they may not be as bad as you think. Speak to your mentor and accountant so that you can help to get those true financials. Your property mentor can run a cash analysis program. So if you are having to negotiate with a tenant, you can fully understand just how much you can drop the rent by before it starts to impact you. Remember that any reduction in rent is a negotiated process and you get a say. So this is why it's so important that you do budget so you know what you can afford. We will have an upcoming webinar about options for landlords during the pandemic. So keep your eyes peeled and ask your property mentor when that will be. So how can the Property Club help you to budget? So your property mentor is your best friend. They're your best friend when you're purchasing a property, but they're your best friend now as well as times get a little bit more challenging. A cash analysis program on your current properties can help you to fully understand just how much your properties are costing you. So what's in your toolbox? We've got the goal setting template to help you set your goals. Don't forget to download that from the handout section. We do have an often forgotten budget expenses checklist. So if you are interested in obtaining that, just reach out to yick@propertyclub.com.au and we can make that available to you. Your property mentor is in your toolbox and our cash analysis program. So make sure you do reach out and use those things. So your call to action tonight, understand your situation. Although times are challenging and unique, it's now more than ever that you need to understand where you stand financially. So get a free financial wealth check. If you complete a financial wealth check, we'll send it to one of our brokers or to your property mentor, and that service is completely free. So download the FWC and the attachments of this webinar, send it through to yick@propertyclub.com.au and we'll pass it on to the appropriate person. If you already know where you stand and you're in that situation where you are ready to purchase a property, if you complete a needs analysis form in the attachment section and send it through to us, we can help you to find the property that you're looking for. If you're not sure who your property mentor is, again, reach out to yick@propertyclub.com.au and we'll certainly get you in contact. So remember, stay safe, stay at home, keep planning and budgeting. This situation is only temporary. We will come out the other side. We just need to look after each other and ask for help. Thank you for tonight, guys. I'll leave their webinar running an extra couple of minutes so that you can get to the handouts. And like we said, any questions, if you want some more of those screenshots on how to do the budget or even just any extra little advice, reach out to yick@propertyclub.com.au and we can help you. Thank you.